All right. Our first presenter today is Megan Van Buskirk. I had the pleasure of meeting Megan last year and knew I wanted to hear more from her. She serves as the Director of Quality Assurance at Holistic Learning Solutions and is an assistant faculty member at the Johns Hopkins School of Education. She is currently pursuing a doctorate in education in entrepreneurial leadership, focusing on the integration of social justice and systems thinking to address educational inequities. With 17 years of experience in curriculum design, instruction, and in educational innovation, Megan brings expertise in strategic planning and institutional growth. Her work emphasizes balancing business sustainability with social impact, ensuring that educational initiatives empower learners to become leaders in their careers and communities. Welcome, Megan.
Thank you so much, Diane. I'm going to go ahead and get started and replace this share. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And if you haven't had an opportunity to say hello to each other in the chat, please feel free. I love seeing the different institutions we have across the state of Missouri, and it's great to connect with your colleagues. So say hello if you haven't already, maybe even talk about your role a little bit as we get started. It's Friday and we get to do professional development and we get to have our cameras off, a lot of us. So no cognitive overload. So it's a great day to learn and get together. So I'm going to start from the beginning. Hopefully everybody can see my screen, and I am going to put on presenter view for myself. So any confirmation we can see the slides, but no notes.
Correct. That's what I can see.
Perfect. Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. So I'm going to move this out of the window, and I just want to let you know there is going to be a lot of video today. So be prepared for that. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that on the next screen, but as you can see, here's our presentation for the day. We are going to be talking about beyond the buzz, right? Because it is the hot topic right now, Gen AI. And we're going to explore really just how Gen AI fosters engagement, inclusivity, and integrity in online education. Something I didn't actually express in that introduction that Diane shared was really kind of how I've started in adopting Gen AI. And so, in my experience in digital education all of these years, I've actually used Gen AI as a faculty member, as an instructional designer, as a student, and as a leader doing project management and strategy. So I found a lot of use cases for it, but today we're mainly going to talk about the faculty use cases and also some of the student use cases that are going to dovetail into those faculty use cases. So this session is going to be structured into 7 key areas. We're going to start with an introduction that covers the role of Gen AI in higher education online, followed by an overview of widely used tools, just to give you all a good snapshot of what's popular right now. And then we're going to discuss faculty and learner use cases before explicitly looking at how to align learning objectives with assessments, and explore practical ways to integrate Gen AI into assignment design. And so we're going to highlight its benefits for learning, and we'll be demoing some more practical use cases before addressing academic integrity concerns, which I think is prudent anytime you're going to be talking about using Gen AI for students. And then finally, we're going to be wrapping up with some key takeaways, and we will open the floor up for a Q&A session. And as mentioned earlier, if you have any questions, there's that designated Q&A area. Also, if you just want to save those for the end, open up a Word document and jot down some questions if you have some, pressing questions, and you can always paste those in at the end. And so at the end of this presentation, you should have a solid understanding of how to effectively leverage Gen AI ethically in your online education space. So I did also want to note that throughout the session, you're going to see some demos go quite fast on the screen. But don't worry, because these will loop around as I speak, so you'll have more than one chance to see what's going on. Also, you will have an opportunity to reach out to me afterward if you'd like to see the prompts and videos firsthand. I'm happy to send those over to Diane and Sherry and everyone to get those out to you. So don't think if you don't see it the first time, it's over, you're never going to see it again. I do have those resources and I'm happy to share. And also, I went over the fact that you should jot any questions down. Perfect. So Keep that in mind as we go forward, because I think some people try to stay up with the speed of the video, and you probably can't do that. So Gen AI is really reshaping online higher education by bridging gaps in engagement, accessibility, and efficiency. And for faculty, these tools streamline tasks like curriculum design, definitely grading, and it really frees up a lot of time to focus on meaningful student interactions, which is super important. So for students, on the other hand, these tools are, offering personalized learning aids that are helping to improve writing, comprehension, and study skills. And of course, to some of you who are maybe a little bit more skeptical, yes, innovation comes with great responsibility, and we're definitely going to focus on how to do that today. So ensuring ethical use and maintaining academic integrity are critical, and those are steps that I take to safeguard my own Gen AI usage. So by embracing Gen AI, it's my belief that institutions can really equip faculty and learners with the skills that they need to thrive in our really robust and technology-driven world. I think it's very important that we not shy away from it, because it's not going anywhere. We have to learn to work with it, just like the calculator, right? So I just want to take a moment to do a pulse check on where everyone is with Gen AI on their journey. So on screen, you're going to see a few options. Are you a curious explorer? Somebody who's heard about Gen AI but hasn't used it yet? Are you a rising voyager? Somebody who's familiar with tools like ChatGPT, but maybe you're still exploring their potential? Or are you a seasoned wayfinder actively experimenting and developing some AI use cases? So just take a minute and select the option that connects with your experience level. Go ahead and drop that answer in the chat by giving us a 1, 2, or a 3, and this will give us a sense of the diverse experiences in the session as we dive deeper. So I see a lot of numbers coming in. Woo! Wow, a lot of 1s and 2s. I see a couple of 3s. That's amazing. I love this. I honestly didn't expect quite so much diversity, but this is wonderful. And you know what? Nobody's ahead or behind, I wouldn't say. I've been an early adopter of Gen AI, and it's funny because when I use it, I feel like it's very simple. And my colleagues say, Megan, this could be an entire workshop. You need to slow down. So we never quite know our experience level sometimes, but it's great to see that, we have people curious and that there's room to grow and have more ideas. And you're going to get a lot of great ideas in the session later today. So perfect. We'll move forward. So here are some of the most trending AI products today. If you want to take a screenshot of this, please feel free to do so. Some of these products are direct Gen AI products. Others serve as companion tools that enhance the AI-powered workflows, so they're kind of embedded in an existing tool. So for instance, we have ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Claude AI, and Black GPT, and these are language models that generate text. They assist with brainstorming, and they provide research support. So then we have tools like DALL-E, Midjourney, Canva Magic Studio, and Stable Diffusion. And these tools focus on image generation, transforming text descriptions into visuals. And then beyond content creation, AI is also embedded in many of our learning management systems, like D2L AI Suite and Canvas Insights, which are doing some things in terms of analyzing engagement and optimizing course delivery. And then audio tools such as 11 Labs and Well Said Labs are using AI for speech synthesis, making text-to-speech applications more natural and more engaging. We're also seeing AI supporting project management with tools like Notion AI, Microsoft Copilot, and Trello, which are helping to streamline tasks, automate documentation, and enhance collaboration. So if you're using any of those tools, you might start to see these generative AI features popping up kind of randomly. And lastly, Notebook LM, Zotero, and Mendeley are AI-enhanced research management tools that are helping learners and researchers organize sources and citations more efficiently. So as we move forward, these AI tools are going to continue evolving. They're going to offer new ways to enhance productivity and creativity and learning experiences. But for now, this is a really nice snapshot for those of you who are looking to try out different Gen AI products to enhance your practice. So GenAI provides faculty with some powerful tools to enhance course design, assessments, grading, and accessibility. AI can help generate structured course outlines, draft syllabi, curate content, and align our learning objectives. And this helps to ensure a cohesive instructional flow while reducing preparation time. Further, in regard to enhancing engagement and assessments, AI streamlines the creation of quizzes, discussion prompts, and interactive learning activities. And it just makes it easier to develop really engaging and dynamic coursework. So, for grading and feedback, AI can assist with rubric based scoring, personalized feedback, and efficiency in grading, which really allows faculty to focus on meaningful student interactions rather than those repetitive administrative tasks that we've gotten used to, unfortunately, as online faculty. And finally, AI-driven tools can also support accessibility and usability with automatic transcription, scenario-based learning, and adaptive course design, which really helps faculty to create more inclusive and equitable and engaging online learning experiences. So, by leveraging GenAI, faculty can optimize their workflow, improve engagement, and ensure their online courses are both effective and accessible. So, if you haven't tried one of these use cases on screen, I highly encourage you to play around with one of these areas, especially all of you ones out there that I see. My first experience in GenAI was actually related to providing customized grading comments to my learners. And, the process was more streamlined, but the bigger success, I think, was providing my online learners with feedback that helped them learn and made them feel just great about themselves. And I did get comments, ironically, that learners felt my feedback was less phoned in compared to their other professors. Which that was kind of fun hearing that. So, if you're worried about how AI is going to shape your workload, keep an open mind and experiment before deciding if it's a helpful tool for you, because there are ways, to combat, generic wording and things of that nature. You can still utilize this tool or all of these Gen AI tools really in a way that makes the experience customized. So, in looking at use cases for learners, Gen AI is also a valuable tool for students from their perspective, and one that should absolutely be encouraged responsibly. That's definitely my viewpoint on it. It offers learners personalized support in studying, organization, and also support in studying. And so, let's talk a little bit more specifically about these use cases. So, for study aids and self assessment, GenAI can generate quizzes, flashcards. It can help explain tough concepts, making it easier to test knowledge and reinforce learning. In terms of organization and productivity, Gen AI helps with study plans, note organization, and managing workloads. And that helps to keep our students on track with deadlines and assignments. And for writing and research support, AI assists with grammar, paraphrasing, summarizing, and even generating citations in the appropriate format, which makes academic writing more efficient. So, with the right balance, these tools can help students learn more effectively and stay ahead in their coursework. And as a student, I have to say, I've frequently used my GPT Pro account by uploading my research articles for the week after I've read them and asking AI to quiz me on the readings for comprehension and retention. And it's been a wonderful tool for me. It's helped provide me with validation as a learner that my studies are actually bearing fruit, especially when I'm feeling really bogged down in dense doctoral level research articles. Maybe I'm multitasking and I'm listening to my articles on Speechify and I'm cooking dinner and my child's asking me to do something. And I think, wow, I read these 15 research articles, but I'm not sure how well I learned them. I can then upload them to my account and say, hey, I really need some in depth quizzes here to test my knowledge. And then I'll feel very good at the end, knowing that I did actually retain some of that information. And so it's also worth noting that when online learners are feeling that transactional distance, Gen AI can actually bridge feelings of isolation by offering learners a study companion. So that's another consideration, another real positive, I think, to Gen AI use for learners. So, building on how students are using Gen AI, it's important to consider both the opportunities and the challenges that AI is bringing to online education. And on the opportunity side, AI can support the automation of repetitive tasks. It can tailor learning experiences to individual students, improve productivity for both students and faculty, which we discussed. It also helps to fuel engagement and innovation, which helps faculty to create more interactive lessons, promote problem solving, and make courses more accessible through features like the AI generated transcripts and captions. So at the same time, there are challenges to address. The biggest challenges, of course, are plagiarism and ethical concerns, and those arise when students over rely on the Gen AI. I think most of us have had an experience where we've seen students just kind of copy and paste from Google. Maybe now it's a copy and paste from OpenAI, and also submitting AI generated work without proper credit, or using it in ways that just violate academic integrity policies, whatever those may be. Uh, Another issue is with misinformation and AI bias, because AI models can hallucinate facts. Even in the image world, we know that AI just still struggles, and they try to convince us that people have four fingers, and we have five. We have five on each hand. They can also reinforce biases present in their training data, which is one of the reasons I love the tool Black GPT, because it's helping to eliminate some bias about African Americans, which I really appreciate. But understanding both the benefits and limitations of Gen AI really helps to ensure it's used responsibly and effectively in online education. So I want to take a closer look with our first demo at some of the faculty use cases outlined earlier, starting with curricular design and alignment. So jumping into this demo, this is going to demonstrate a good faculty use case for Gen AI, which is the connection of programs to courses and modules. So on screen, and don't worry if you can't see this perfectly, it'll still give you a good general idea. You'll have access to these videos afterward if you want to look at them more intently. But on screen, you're going to see the video play on loop, but it shows a really good visual of how to use attachments and verbal prompts to get good results in producing course and module level objectives. I have utilized the plus button at the bottom of my OpenAI command box to upload a program map. So for those of you who have program maps, you can easily upload yours as well if you have the pro account. You can also ask your program chair or dean for a current copy of the program map if you don't have one, and of course if it's your responsibility to do the curricular development for a course in the program. But after the document is affixed, you need to be very specific in your prompt. So on screen, you'll start to see it loop back around where I, start in the beginning and upload a document. And I used very specific details about the type of program used. So in this case, I was able to say this is going to be a music therapy program. I also wanted help creating both course and module level objectives for all 12 courses. And in addition to creating that for all 12 courses, I still wanted to preserve the integrity of the program and institutional levels of alignment. So as you can see, Gen AI is making really quick work of producing these course and module level objectives. That said, as you likely all know, we can't just simply copy and paste any work that's getting produced with our Gen AI, because this is a great starting place if we're feeling stuck. But it's more of a brainstorming tool here, right? We still need to rely on our human vetting. And so it makes sense for how we plan and teach the course, and we might need to connect it to particular resources. So there's going to be adjustments that you need to make. You might even find that maybe it's producing too many objectives, or there's too few of objectives, or maybe they're not hitting the mastery levels you need it to hit. Maybe you're in an introductory course and it's got way too much in the way of evaluation and synthesis, so you need to dial back a little bit. But all the same, it's really a very efficient and powerful way to just at least help you preserve that alignment, right? So as you're populating these objectives, ensuring that it's really nice and tied up at that program level. But again, it's going to require your human vetting skills to work most effectively. And keep in mind, the great thing about this is that because you're the one who's building the prompt, you're the one who's shaping AI, not vice versa. So do remember that it's your thinking that's shaping the AI generation. So in this next demo, I want to illustrate how a faculty member could create an aligned assessment plan based on the objective alignment already in place or created. So again, you're going to see the continuation of the last demo where we've created some course and module level objectives for our 12 courses in the music therapy program. And so now I'm asking GenAI to use a sample of these objectives from one of the courses to help me come up with an assessment plan for a music therapy research course. And so I'm specific with the logistics of the course, suggesting that it's an 8-week course with one module that's running per week. I also clarified in my prompt that I wanted a small assignment that was due each weekly module, and I wanted 2 larger assignments that were spread out at some point in the course. Additionally, I was very explicit that I wanted to emphasize cultural competency and experiential learning in the assessment plan. So you'll see as it loops back around, I was very specific. There's the prompts, that 8-week one module focusing on cultural competency and experiential learning. So as you can see on screen, GenAI created a week by week assessment plan for me that discussed in a linear format the assignment, instructions, and the clear connections to cultural considerations and experiential learning. And after producing this linear glance of the assignments, it generated a summary table that provided a whole course view of the assessments. And once this was completed, I really wanted to see a bit more in terms of actual assessment criteria. So I did a follow-up prompt, which is producing on screen now, and I asked to provide grading criteria and rubrics for each of the applicable assignments. And the results immediately generated and provided criteria, points, and a description. And it wasn't my favorite format of rubric. So I actually adjusted that and I asked for that adjustment by writing, let's scaffold the points possible into 4 different levels of mastery. So with that information, it was able to adjust to my preference. And was able to create a scale from exemplary to needs improvement. And in addition to adjusting my rubrics for me and going in that particular scale direction, it also offered grade weights and calculated those for the entire assessment plan across the course, as well as a final grade scale based on those mastery levels, which was really nice. So this is another good showcase for how you can utilize GenAI to make these processes more efficient and ensure a clear alignment along the way. But what may have gotten most lost in this particular demo is the actual value of infusing curriculum with vital course tenets, such as cultural competency and experiential learning elements. So be sure to take the opportunity to infuse your curriculum when you can with the specific values that matter to you, your specific discipline, or even just the values that of the institution that you're serving. So let's take a look at an alignment checklist to help you support cohesion in your curricular design. Please note that each of these items can be checked in depth. We won't have time to cover all of these today. First, as many of us know from the Quality Matters 7th edition rubric, learning objectives must be clear, specific, measurable, directly connecting to course and program goals. And if students don't have a clear understanding of expectations, as we know, engagement and learning outcomes are going to suffer. And these outcomes should also be aligned with other critical course components, such as instructional materials, activities, and assessments. Also, assessments should be intentionally designed to measure the skills and knowledge outlined in the objectives. So if an objective focuses on critical thinking or applied problem solving, a simple multiple choice quiz really isn't going to capture the depth of learning. So instead, assessments should align with the cognitive level of the objective, ensuring that students demonstrate mastery in a meaningful way. And a lot of us who know QM pretty well know that that's really baked right into the model. And so scaffolding and feedback are also going to be essential. Activities should progressively build towards more complex assessments, ensuring that students have those opportunities to develop and refine their skills before those high stakes evaluations. So thoughtful scaffolding allows students to engage in lower risk practices, while feedback provides direction and reinforcement, which really is going to make the learning process more effective. So finally, alignment goes beyond academic rigor. It should also reflect those institutional priorities and real world applications. So infusing objectives again with institutional tenets like health and wellness or experiential learning, like we saw before, really ensures that assessments remain relevant and can go beyond the digital classroom, which is really important. So, when students engage in tasks that connect to those professional contexts, ethical, or even societal contexts, they're building transferable skills that prepare them for real world challenges. So, it's really nice that we include those things in our alignment. So now let's take another look at an example of alignment, but instead of an actual production, I want to do a review rather than generating content. So in this demo, I've uploaded a Psychology 101 course map. You'll see that it's attached, which was created by a faculty member. And I want to check some alignment features of this particular course map. While I won't check for everything we just discussed in our alignment checklist, I am going to look for some broad features that relate to ensuring alignment across those critical course components that we know from Quality Matters. So I've prompted by saying that I need to ensure that critical course components such as instructional materials, activities, assessments, resources, technologies, and learner interactions are in alignment with my objectives. And I can look at other kinds of alignment if I choose to, such as the cognitive level of assessments or the scaffolding of formative activities to summative assessments, or even to transferable skills in the workplace. But again, for now, I just want to focus on the general alignment of the course map. And I'm also particularly interested in the parenthetical relationship in the course map and if there are any severe issues with the alignment. So again, GPT is very quick to produce a really long report of consistency between course level and module level objectives. There are some clear instances where the variety of instructional materials are not aligned directly with a module learning outcome, which is a really excellent finding. So this means that the faculty member would want to parenthetically cite their materials back to the outcomes, or at least ensure that there's a stronger relationship between those things. Otherwise, learners may be engaging in content that doesn't help them achieve their learning outcomes, or engaging with extra content that's not really valuable to their learning and helping them to reach those outcomes. So there are also clear references to the specific modules and course map in its production, which is excellent because you can use those specific examples and examine those for areas of improvement. The report also suggests that activities could be strengthened, as well as connections to other tenets such as personal well-being. It calls out justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion, and experiential learning as well. So this report gives faculty a lot to consider in terms of curricular planning and the overall student experience. So you're able to produce these reports, review them, and see if you agree with the assessment, or maybe if it just gets you thinking a little bit more deeply about something else that could be corrected. Is a great use case for quality alignment. So I want to shift gears away from the general alignment of courses, and I want to talk a little bit more about how GenAI allows for more dynamic and interactive assessments that enhance student engagement and critical thinking. So one effective approach is scenario-based and real-world applications, where AI generates case studies or ethical dilemmas and decision-making exercises. So these help students apply course concepts to realistic situations. It improves problem solving skills in ways that are going to mimic real world challenges. Another area is collaborative and creative assignments, where AI supports group projects and content analysis and multimodal storytelling. Students can use AI to assist with brainstorming, generating visual or written content, and enhancing those creative elements in their work. This helps streamline collaboration while encouraging critical engagement with the material. And lastly, AI can enhance research and analytical tasks, assisting students in conducting literature reviews, identifying trends, and interpreting complex data sets. AI tools can summarize sources, highlight key insights, and speed up the process of synthesizing information, which allows students to focus more on the analysis rather than just data collection. And so these AI integrated assessments provide opportunities for deeper engagement, and it allows students to spend more time thinking critically and applying knowledge rather than just retrieving information. And I just want to say, if there's anyone out there who's thinking, oh, I just don't want to use Gen AI and I'm just completely against it. Yeah, that's okay. I hope you'll change your mind in the future, but that's okay. We all start at different places. And I will share that I have a very close friend who has been a professor in creative writing for many years. And she just thinks it's terrible that anyone would utilize Gen AI for creativity. But what I haven't shared with her yet, and something that I will share with you today, is that there are ways to ensure that a student's creativity remains intact, and can also be refined with AI in a way that still aligns with academic integrity. So for anyone who might be thinking that frame of thinking, I have an example later, and I think it'll be uh, really worth watching. Okay, so for students to use Gen AI responsibly, they need clear guidelines on ethical and effective use. So first, in terms of transparency and attribution, these things are going to be essential. Students should clearly disclose, when and how AI was used in their assignments, whether it was assisting with brainstorming or help with summarizing, putting together an outline, refining ideas, or just even proper citations. This acknowledgement is going to ensure that academic integrity um, is solid in their work, and it allows them to maintain trust in their work. So next, critical thinking and verification is going to be key. AI generated content, again, isn't always reliable. It can contain factual errors, biases, and outdated information. So students have to evaluate those AI outputs just like we do, and they need to cross-check sources and ensure alignment with course objectives before incorporating AI generated material into their work. And then finally, AI should be used as a learning aid, not a shortcut. Students should demonstrate how AI enhances rather than replaces their original work by showing their process. So, where they started, how they refined their ideas, and what role did AI play in that development. So, doing this ensures that learning remains active and that AI serves as a tool for deeper engagement rather than a way to bypass effort. So faculty can actually bake this demonstration of enhancement into assignments, and while still utilizing real world applications and collaborations, analytical tasks like we've discussed on the previous slide, they can do all of those things. So let's take a look at how this is possible while also integrating Gen AI into our assignments. So in these next demos, I want to show you how you can leverage GenAI to develop assignments that incorporate what I like to call a show your work feature. So similar to math courses where an instructor might ask that you show your work so that they can see how you came up with a particular solution, we want to ensure that learners are showing how they utilize GenAI to come to a particular solution. So on screen, I've prompted ChatGPT to create an anatomy and physiology assignment for week 4 of an introductory course that provides case studies, group projects, and simulations. I want to be sure that the assignment instructions bake in checks and balances for learners so that they show their initial ideas and how those were formed, and the assignment, and also how GenAI then enhanced their original work. So as you can see here in a moment, hard at work. There's an overview populated for the assignment with some learning objectives that even include Gen AI. And the assignment continues discussing the symptoms, diagnosis, and treatment plan that the learners will develop with reputable sources. An initial treatment plan is requested to display the original thoughts of the individual. And next, groups pair up and utilize role playing and other simulations to refine their treatment plan as a group. And then a group document highlights how simulations influence the treatment plan. The learners are to submit a 2 to 3 page group report regarding those key changes. And then finally, the group uses GenAI tools to enhance the diagnosis and treatment plan. And each individual learner then puts together an AI evaluation and reflection regarding how it supported the treatment plan. So while this is a more robust sample of how to integrate several elements for a midterm or maybe a final project, it's a good demonstration of clear value in terms of engaging learners with their original work, and integrating group work, and then also Gen AI refinements while picking up valuable collaborative and innovation skills, along with those soft and technical skills that they need for the course. So in this next demo, I've prompted ChatGPT to help me put together a group work project for an online undergraduate creative writing course. So here's my creative writing sample. I told you it was coming. That is a midterm assessment. So I've asked to incorporate Gen AI tools, cultural competencies, and a focus on imagery as a literary device. I've also outlined that students should demonstrate their original work and how Gen AI enhanced their work. And I made mention that the learners are going to be graded with a rubric that has 4 levels of mastery. So the midterm group project suggests to learners that they will work in groups to craft a short story, a poem, or creative nonfiction piece that emphasizes imagery as a literary device. It also tasks learners to reflect a cultural perspective and demonstrate the creative infusion of Gen AI. So the students start by drafting without AI, and then they use Gen AI to expand or refine their work. And then they work to compare and analyze the differences between the pieces before ensuring that cultural elements such as identity, tradition, language, or setting are illustrated through imagery. And to submit their work, they present both their final piece and a reflective analysis of the writing and the enhancement process. So it also outlines like a really nice checklist, if you were able to see it as it went by, a nice checklist of the deliverables, the integration and reflection, the collaboration elements, and the presentation or submission before providing a rubric with those 4 levels of mastery that I requested. And so again, this is another discipline specific sample where Gen AI can be used with integrity to help learners with their content area knowledge and their digital innovation skills. So I would encourage all of you to give something like this a try, even on one of your assignments for a class over the semester or term. I think you'd be really surprised with how you could integrate Gen AI in a responsible way that also allowed for collaboration and engagement. So as you can see through these demos, Gen AI has the potential to transform experiential learning by creating interactive, hands-on opportunities for students to apply their knowledge in real-world contexts. One of the biggest benefits is the ability to generate simulated scenarios, including case studies, role-playing exercises, and decision-making challenges. This allows students to engage with those complex real-world problems in a controlled learning environment. It also helps to enhance adaptive and hands-on learning by providing personalized project guidance, iterative feedback, and tailored learning paths. So whether students are refining their writing or analyzing data or solving business challenges, AI tools can adjust to their progress, offering support at key points in the learning process. And finally, Gen AI prepares students for the workforce by offering AI-driven career simulations, portfolio building is another one, and technical skill development. So from generating interview practice questions to analyzing industry trends, AI helps bridge the gap between classroom learning and professional application. So by integrating AI into experiential learning, faculty can provide students with richer, more dynamic opportunities to apply knowledge in meaningful and career relevant ways. Another benefit of Gen AI is its ability to foster inclusivity through personalizing learning experiences, broadening representation in the content, and offering greater flexibility in assessments and skill development. Personalized learning pathways allow AI to recommend study plans, help students organize their coursework, and offer choices in how they engage with material, ensuring that learners can work in ways that align with their needs and their preferences. Culturally responsive content connects disciplinary knowledge to historical and social contexts, and AI can embed diverse perspectives into coursework, such as highlighting the underrepresentation of women in STEM or examining the impact of race and gender in different fields, among many other things. And alternative assessments and choice give students multiple ways to demonstrate mastery. AI can help structure reflections, group discussions, or interactive projects, allowing students to engage with content in ways that best showcase their understanding. And then that workforce preparation and skill development piece we just talked about is enhanced through AI supported training in industry specific tools, technical skills, and those soft skills like emotional intelligence that we're able to bake in through scenarios. So case studies, simulations, and AI-assisted feedback help students apply disciplinary knowledge while also developing those critical workplace competencies. And by integrating AI in these different ways, faculty can definitely create more inclusive, flexible, and relevant learning experiences that are going to better prepare students for academic and professional success. So, as you have seen, GenAI also benefits learners by enhancing engagement and making learning more interactive, more creative, and student driven. Interactive and immersive learning is supported through AI generated simulations, role playing, and scenario based challenges, which we'll get a chance to look at here soon, that allow students to apply knowledge in dynamic ways. And AI also provides adaptive feedback loops, helping students refine their understanding in real time. AI supported creativity and gamification bring new energy to learning experiences. AI tools can generate writing prompts, visual storytelling elements, multimedia content, interactive challenges, and these allow students to engage in really unique personal ways. Gamified elements like AI powered quizzes and adaptive exercises can keep students motivated and responsive to their learning progress. So, student led exploration and inquiry empower learners to take control of their academic journey. AI serves as a research assistant, a brainstorming partner, and really just a tool for self directed learning, which helps students ask deeper questions and refine their ideas and explore topics with AI generated insights. So, by integrating AI into learning experiences, faculty can create more engaging, dynamic, personalized learning environments that are keeping the students actively involved in the coursework. So, you'll notice that many of these benefits of AI dovetail with one another, such as engaging content is often experiential in nature, immersive or scenario based, and offers learners choice while also following those universal design for learning standards. And that's good because we know through the Quality Matters rubric and other best practices that it's important to promote all of these things in online education. It's what our learners want. It's what they need. So now let's shift again and think back to some of the other faculty use cases from the beginning of the presentation. And let's look at how to use GenAI to support our grading workload and to offer learners more choice and engagement in their learning. So in this demo, I want to showcase how a good prompt can provide customized and efficient feedback to learners. So let's imagine that you've read a student paper and you can see some things that they've done well in accordance with the rubric and some things that need worked on. So perhaps you've even done some inline feedback or corrections, and you want to write a meaningful overall comment. In such an instance, GenAI can support you with that. So on screen, I attached a student paper and said that I wanted to give feedback to a specific student, Yolanda, and I wanted to comment on the introduction, the course concepts, as well as the arguments she made, her supporting paragraphs and evidence, and her parenthetical citations. I also offered a resource and closed the comment off by offering help and signing off as, I also want to sign off as Professor Van Buskirk. So quickly as this gets populated and generated, AI goes to work to offer a nice set of paragraphs that encapsulate what I've asked in terms of focusing on these key areas. However, it wasn't specific to the actual work that I'd attached. So you'll see as this generates, I followed up in a reply comment. I said something like, "This is great, but I would really like more attention to be paid to specific claims and warrants in the student's body paragraphs." So once adjusting this prompt the second time and feeding it to the GPT, it produced some very in-depth customized feedback for Yolanda. And you'll see on screen the initial production is pretty good in terms of covering a lot of bases, right? But I didn't feel like it was customized enough. So what you'll see in the second response is something that's most certainly more customized. It focuses specifically on the original paragraphs, the evidence that Yolanda used, and her cited research. So this is an excellent way to provide robust feedback comments for learners that are very personalized, and really tracks back to that initial use case where I suggested that in my own practice, I've had students say, "This is the most customized feedback I've ever gotten." And this is a great way to do it. Okay. So another faculty use case that we discussed earlier related to accessibility it was related to accessibility and engagement. And so scenario-based learning is a great example of how to incorporate engagement and that experiential piece that a lot of us are looking for. So on screen, I am feeding the GPT information so that I can spruce up an assessment of mine for a literature course. So I start by suggesting that I'm doing a lesson on Edgar Allan Poe's The Cask of Amontillado for my undergraduate students. I ask for help crafting an assessment that combines some deep literary analysis with scenario-based learning that increases engagement while retaining accessibility in my online course. And the results are several excellent assessment ideas related to role playing and scenario based learning, digital escape rooms, which sounds like so much fun, and alternate endings, which is an assessment that I've practiced before myself. Each of the scenario based assessment ideas offer a really unique combination of scenarios and also different literary devices to analyze, which is really nice. And in such an instance, you could even provide a few different assessment options to learners that are alike and just ask learners to pick their own educational adventure for assessment. So this is a perfect way to create choice and enhance engagement for your online learners. So in this session, we've discussed and viewed important use cases of GenAI for faculty with students in mind. We've also explored potential tools to experiment with and thoroughly covered the benefits and the challenges of GenAI in higher education online. But now it's important to just briefly discuss ethical AI usage. So to ensure AI is used responsibly in education, clear policies and best practices must guide its integration. Institutional guidelines and ethical AI use should align with academic policies, accreditation standards, and those responsible usage frameworks, ensuring AI enhances learning while maintaining rigor and integrity. So faculty and student responsibilities must also be clearly defined. Faculty should establish transparent expectations for AI use unless if it's something that's standardized across the board, including when and how AI can be used, what level of disclosure is required, and how to ensure ethical implementation. And we covered a lot of those examples today and how you can ensure that the ethical implementation is baked right into the assignment. These guidelines are going to help prevent misuse while encouraging AI as a tool for deeper learning rather than as a shortcut. And since AI is rapidly evolving, ongoing policy evaluation is going to be essential. Institutions should regularly review and refine AI policies just to keep pace with technological advancements and emerging challenges with Gen AI because it's going so fast. And by maintaining clear, adaptable guidelines, AI can be integrated responsibly while still upholding academic integrity and institutional standards. And so many of these techniques have already been discussed throughout the session when we discussed use cases, but together they form a comprehensive approach to avoiding plagiarism on the student side. Institutional policies provide clear AI usage guidelines, ensuring students understand, when and how AI can be used ethically. Designing those AI resistant assignments that emphasize critical thinking, originality, and applied learning makes it much harder for students to rely solely on AI generated content, and it's teaching them a skill at the same time. So beyond assignment design, process documentation and transparency require students to show their workflow, demonstrating how AI has contributed to their work and where their own thinking played a role. And finally, academic integrity education ensures students develop ethical reasoning skills, helping them to distinguish between AI assistance and original authorship. Faculty should also follow these same principles when designing courses and assessments and grading rubrics, setting clear expectations, encouraging transparency, and reinforcing ethical AI use helps to maintain academic integrity while allowing students to still engage with AI as a meaningful learning tool. So let's talk about key takeaways as we close, and talk about those main ideas for faculty use cases of Gen AI, both for their own work and for guiding students. So first, AI is not a is a faculty support tool, not a replacement. It can streamline course design, automate certain grading tasks for you. Assist in content creation, but faculty expertise, of course, remains central to teaching and learning. AI should enhance efficiency, not take over instructional decision making. And faculty also play a key role in guiding responsible student use, as we've talked about, throughout. AI should be integrated in ways that enhance learning, aligns with those course objectives that you've set, and encourage critical thinking rather than serving as, that shortcut. So setting clear expectations and modeling responsible AI use helps ensure students engage with these tools thoughtfully. If you use Gen AI, maybe even say so in an announcement, like, "Hey, I use Gen AI for this announcement, and this is what it looked like before." Model that responsible usage. There's no shame in it. To maintain assessment integrity, faculty should design assignments that promote originality, require process documentation, and discourage that over reliance on AI, and encouraging students to show their workflow, explain and will demonstrate their thinking, allows us to uphold that academic integrity piece. And finally, institutional alignment and policy awareness, again, are critical. Faculty need to stay informed on institutional AI policies, set those clear usage expectations in their courses, and participate in ongoing discussions about AI's role, right? So have a conversation with your colleagues at the institution level. AI continues to evolve, and so ongoing engagement with policies is really going to ensure that it's used most effectively and ethically in your professional context. So, by applying these principles, faculty can integrate Gen AI in a way that enhances both teaching and learning while also maintaining that academic rigor. And then let's talk about the action plan. So to your first step for this action plan would be to define AI usage in your courses by setting clear expectations for students. Explicitly state when and how the AI can be used, whether it's for brainstorming or research assistance or content refinement. Provide this transparency to ensure that learners understand AI's role in their learning. You can also experiment with AI for efficiency in your own work. It can streamline content creation, automate that initial feedback, and many of those other examples that we saw on screen today. So there are many use cases available to you to support your practice with integrity. And when designing assignments for learners, it's important to create those AI resistant assessments. So think of some of those. You can also explore ways to incorporate AI in meaningful ways in maybe reflections or data analysis exercises. And then also remember to stay informed. It's important to stay informed, have those conversations with your colleagues, with your institutions. And by taking these steps, then you can start to responsibly, effectively integrate AI. And again, in a way that ensures enhanced learning and academic integrity as well. So I want to say thank you for your time and attention. I just shorten a little bit at the end because I know we're getting close. If you don't participate in the Q&A session right now, Please take note of the information on screen. You're welcome to print screen this and grab a screenshot. Feel free to reach out at a later time. You can also find me on LinkedIn. Remember, if you want to reach out to review the videos in today's session, that's going to be absolutely going to be an option. I'll share those resources. And I'm going to take the last few minutes to go over what questions you have.
Thank you so much, Megan. That was great. Just a great view of all the different ways we might think about using AI, both in our own work, in how we interact with students, in assignments, so many different ways. And I think just in trying to keep up a little bit with the chat, I think that is where a lot of us started thinking, ChatGPT was a cheat tool, and finding out that in fact, as we incorporate it more in our work, understanding how students might use it as well. We've only got a couple of minutes for questions, and there are several. So I'm going to try to
Okay.
summarize that. Thank you so much for sending your contact information so people can follow up directly with you. But
Absolutely.
many of the questions seem are talking. Maybe we might boil it down to both. One, are some AIs better than other? And then also the ethics of using AI. Many of the questions kind of focus on, should we be uploading student work to an AI? And we
Yeah.
noticed that the tools you're using many of them are the paid ones in certain
Yes.
cases, which may also mean that they're closed systems, not open ones. So could you talk a little bit about that? That might
Absolutely.
hopefully answer several people's questions.
Yeah, I forgot kind of the beginning piece, but let me go off the latter piece. So in terms of, ethical usage and uploading student work, I understand the fear there. But there are ways to protect that. So if you do have the paid for GPT account, which that's what I'm using, and actually I know the first question was popular AI tools. I'm a big open AI person. I've used some other tools for different things in terms of image generation. I love Canva. I love using Well Said Labs and 11 Labs for the voiceover stuff. But in terms of that text generation, OpenAI, ChatGPT is absolutely my favorite right now. Subject to change, right? Because they're all going to compete with each other. In terms of that ethical usage, though, yes, if you have a pro account, you're also able to close off access, right? So there's different options where only you can see the GPT, or you can share it with others who have a link, or you can publish it to the GPT store. So I just about never share my work. Like, I've never published anything to the GPT store. I know some people are very like, here, try my tool, but I'm like, no, I need to keep a handle on that. And sometimes I'll share some GPTs with friends if there's no sensitive information. But the other ones I just keep personal and to myself. And I will say that OpenAI does have a very specific policy that people under the age of 18 should not be using ChatGPT. If they do, they need parental consent. And so they're pretty good about discussing how information is processed and trying to keep things confidential. I know we're right at time, so I'll stop there. But again, I don't be shy. I'm happy to answer any questions. Just connect with me on LinkedIn or shoot me an email.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much. Can we all give a warm thank you and welcome to Megan Van Buskirk.
Thank
I
you.
know the questions, there were lots and lots of questions. But hopefully, since again, this presentation was recorded, you can watch that again and maybe with your questions in mind, kind of see where Megan addressed some of those questions throughout her talk. And then please reach out to her. She's always doing research on this, and I believe from what I hear, she's very interested in how you're thinking about that and what that might
Yeah,
mean for the equity in education that she works on all the time.
definitely. Thank you so much.
All right, folks, we have just a little bit, just a few moments until our next speaker begins. We're excited to welcome Dr. Bethany Simonich soon. And so if you would want to we'll have a 3-minute break. I'll put a timer up on the window here, and we'll plan on starting with Dr. Simonich in about 3 minutes.